What's up, guys? We're back with another haul teardown. I can't speak anymore. I quit. Nope, don't quit. Anyways, we're back with another haul. I have a lot of really interesting cards and a lot of interesting stories in this haul video, so stick around. Quite a couple funny things have happened with some of these cards, and I've also acquired some cards that I've been trying to get for some time, and some cards that I got some pretty dang good deals on, just saying. Alright, but we're going to start off with something a little bit boring. This is a Zotac GT 640 that I got for 37 bucks. I totally overpaid for this card. I guarantee you, as soon as I go and do the research after the video and I think somebody took this cooler off a different card. Because it says here, GT640. Oh, hit my camera. On the back here, GT640. On the cooler, GT440. I guess they replaced the cooler at one point? That's kind of funny. Alright, but yeah, nothing really special. This card was just sort of chilling on Mercari. It was I definitely overpaid for this. There's no way I didn't. If I didn't, I'll be very surprised. But I put in a really low offer for this card, and they accepted it. I was like, okay, whatever. And it's unique. I don't see a lot of these cards with these shroud designs. Older cards, I should say, with these shroud designs online typically. So the more like interesting uncommon cards I can get, the better. I like building up my collection to be so interesting. To be more interesting like that. I can't speak at all today. I apologize. Okay, next one. This, I've actually wanted one of these cards for a while because I like the cooler design. This is an Asus GTX 760 Direct CU. I don't know what the CU stands for. I'm guessing cooling. Direct CU2 overclock 2 GB edition. This was given to me by a friend, my friend named Marlo, and thank you very much, Marlo. They gave it to me because they know I collect graphics cards, and they're like, it's just dusty and been sitting in my closet, so do you want it? I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And they gave it to me for free when I went to a party near their place. So it was really cool of them, and I really do like it. Like I said, I don't know what it is. I like the simplistic red, but it just flows well. It's a very flowing design. I like the design on the cooler. I never understood this. It doesn't look like it's cooling anything, so I'm not sure exactly what it does. It says direct power on it. I wasn't holding it up long enough, but anyways, it's a cool card. I'm really happy that I got it free. It's very nice of them to do that. I'm just realizing now this card. I'll fix that better later. Okay, this one has an interesting story. So this is an EVGA 9600 GT SSC. Now, the SSCs you can't find basically at all. Actually, I could be wrong on that. They're either very uncommon or you can't find them. They're very hard to find. You can find the normal 9600 GTs that have this cooler design and everything, but the super clock or whatever you call them, you can't find very easily. At least from my knowledge, you can't. So the story with this card, I can't remember which card. Let's hold on. I can go on to Mercari and I can tell you. Completed. Might be Yeah, I think... Okay, returns don't show up here. Alright, anyways. So, on Mercari, I bought a graphics card. And I don't remember what card it was. Gosh, what card was it? Anyways, so the card came and it did not work. So I sent it back. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. That sucks, but really wanted to have that card in the collection. I don't remember. I think it was actually a rare-ish card. But anyways, I sent it back, and I waited and waited and waited, just sort of waiting for my refund. Just was chilling on my day off, and I get another package that comes in from the same guy from Mercari. I was like, okay, this is weird. Maybe it got sent back from postal. Maybe it's the same card and it got sent back from postal for some reason, but it didn't look like the label I put on it, so I don't know. So I open it up, and it is this card. So I never got a response from the seller about this, but essentially what happened, I thought that said 9500 GT. Essentially what happened was, I think he printed my label twice, because he was selling this card on his page, and I was like, oh, I guess maybe it was a label mix-up, but he already sent me the card that I returned. So he sent me this one, and no, now I remember why I couldn't contact the seller again. Well, actually, no, I did. Okay. A couple things that happened. I tried to contact the seller, got no response. Mercari closes out your chat with the seller in like a week or two after the return, something like that. And then you can't talk to them anymore. But I never did get a response. I'm remembering that now. This is like months upon months ago that this happened. So open up. There's this card. He was selling it on his page. He must have sold it, but he put my label on the box for this card as well as the card I sent back. So I essentially got a 9600 GT SSC for free. I didn't pay for this, and I never got a response back, so I just kept it, and that was it. And that kind of stuff happens. But it was cool. Free graphics card, man. Can't complain. Hold on, I need some water. Don't mind me, just going over here. Okay. Oh. Alright. What was the next one? You guys have already seen this. Yes, you have, because that video will upload before I even upload this one. I did a retro unboxing of this card. This is a Gigabyte HD 6570. It's nothing special. The only reason I got this is because of the fact that it came with the original box and all of its original stuff in the box. So it was a really good retro unboxing. Oh yeah, they were also like bragging about this gold plated like HDMI thing, how it improves signal quality and all this other junk that I'm sure is not true at all. But yeah, it was an interesting card. I guess you could probably call it a little bit more on the uncommon side purely because of that gold HDMI thing. But otherwise, unremarkable in its own right. So it's okay. I didn't have one in the collection. Oh, I didn't say what I paid for it though. I paid $37.26 for that. Which honestly, like for the box and everything and for the content, it's whatever. I definitely overpaid for just the card, but whatever. I don't care. This next one. This one is... trying to think. This one is a more rare one. You don't see a lot of the different 580s. So the most common 580s you see are the EVGA ones, and it's always the 1.5 gig. Sometimes you can come across the 3 gig. Sometimes. I've seen seen it, I think, once recently where someone was selling 3 gig. I already have a working 3 gig, so didn't really care. I would like to get a spare eventually. Oh, sorry. But what you don't see is the other AIB's 580s. So this is a Sparkle GTX 580. It's the 1.5 gig model. I'm not that lucky, believe me. But I purely saw it and I was like, I have to have that card. I paid $45 for it, which, I mean, for a card that doesn't show up very often, if at all, typically, I would say, yeah, $45 is probably on par for what I would normally pay for this. For a 580, though, in general, I think a 580 is worth more like 35, so I probably paid over 10 in this case. I am still trying to keep with the $50 like price limit for each and every card, but that may change in the future, who knows. But I am trying to keep with that theme. But yeah, it's what it is. I just knew I needed this variant because it's just such an uncommon AIB to see for this model. But yeah, cool card and everything. Really like it. I really love the cooler design. I love Sparkle's coolers so much. Like, if you go back into one of my haul videos, I had a white one that I did. I think it was like an 8600 GT or something like that. I can actually check. Hold up. I have an inventory list for a reason. Let's see. I can go all the way down here. Sparkle 8800 GT. That's what it was. But I love that cooler design. It's among one of my favorites that I have in the collection. Next one. Okay, so this one was a good deal. This one was a really good deal. Sort of. Actually, yeah, it was an okay deal. So this is an Asus R9 380 Strix 2 gig. Now so with card, so with cards, with the used market, that is, if you spend as much time on it as I do, you sort of notice something where cards will sort of rotate. As time goes on, people upgrade their systems, like people who still run cards like these on a day-to-day basis will upgrade their system, or people that are running the bare minimum of I'm saying a lot of the bare minimum for their system, say the R9 300 or like an R9 200 series, or the GT 1030 or things like that, you know. I don't mean to call anybody out, by the way. If that's what you can afford, that's what you can afford, and that's fine. But when people upgrade, typically it goes into the rotation of the used market, and then you see all these cards flood the market at once. Like the big ones right now that I've seen, less commonly are the 300 R9 300 series and the 200. More commonly, I've been seeing the 600 and 700 series go for cheap. So whenever that happens, I generally keep a really close eye on the market because I can get some really good deals on some cards that normally would have cost me like $60 to $70. But this is just that point for this card generation, and then it'll probably go back up in price at some point, I'm sure, because it'll become a sought-after rare card or whatever the crap people think they can sell their cards for. But yeah, the fact that it's a Strix is cool because the Strix are the more the gaming super variant of the cards. But I think all of Asus's cards that came out with this sort of generation were Strix cards. So, oh well, no, there is this one. So, Anyways, but it's a cool card. It's a hefty card, and it's got the metal backplate. Like, man, a couple years ago, I would be dreaming of getting a card like this for under $50. I paid $47 for this card for the 2 gig variant. I wish it was the 4 gig, man. Would have loved the 4 gig, but beggars can't be choosers. It's cool to have in my collection and everything now, though, so great. Oh, okay, where is that one, actually? Here it is. So I've wanted one of these cards in my collection for a while. So this is an R7 250 Ice Cube Boost, but there are other variants that I cannot remember what model they are. I think there are 9 250s or R7 250, something like, there's something 250s. But they have this exact design, but the unique part about this one is the black here. Normally it's just blue and white and silver, but I've never seen it with the little black on the cooler, so that indicated this was a... Thanks, camera. Really enjoy having you here. I need to ask in budget server if anybody knows a good camera, because I'm really sick of this thing. Anyways, what I was saying, yeah, the cooler. So normally it's just black, silver, and blue. Blue, white, and silver. But this one had a little bit of black on it, indicating that this was a different type of card. And whether maybe it's just a different cooler design for that generation or whatever, I had to have it. So I put it in an offer. It was a Mercari purchase, if I recall. I got it for $30. Which, not that bad. I've seen worse. Oh, sorry. But yeah, really cool card. Just happy to have one of these in my collection finally, because I really like this cooler design. I don't know why. I love the old style blues. Like the old school blue, like cooler design on anything. It just looks so good. And then it has the blue PCB to complement it. It's just, oh, beautiful. This is UV reactive, if I recall, too. Which I don't have my light. I think I did it in a haul video where I showed that this was UV reactive. But, yeah. No, it's a cool card. I like it. Alright, next. Oh, geez, now we got these. Ooh. Sorry. Alright. So, I did a video recently where I bought a bunch of untested graphics cards for, I think it was like $50, something like that. And the video was good. It did well. And I had a lot of fun making it. But the important part was I actually came out on top because most of the cards that I bought that were considered untested actually worked. So right here we have an EVGA 9500 GT. This was part of the bundle. This was one of the cards that I tested. Like, I already knew looking at this was gonna work. Like, the 9500 GTs, they always work. I've never had one fail or anything like that. And when I saw the EVGA one as well, I was like, oh, it's definitely gonna work. So I was like, whatever. It's gonna work. I know that one will work. Wow, this is a lot dustier of a card than I thought. Blech. So, from that, we go to... These are all part of a... Oh, I paid $35. I didn't pay $50. I paid $35 for all these cards. Dang, that was such a good deal. Anyways, moving on. This is an XFX 7200 GS. This was one of the cards that I tested, and I eventually got working. I think I had a couple issues with, like, drivers conflicting or something like that, but yeah. I did eventually get this to work. So this was one of the cards that I got to save, and it's kind of cool because I don't see a lot of the older XFX cards typically. And they always color code their DVI ports, which is cool. But what's funny is I actually guessed it was an XFX card right off the bat because of the coloring on the DVI, which was funny. But yeah, Really cool card. I didn't actually have one of those in my collection too, so that was a win. So this, I believe this was one of the cards that was giving me trouble, and I said I would do a follow-up on it, but I never intended to do like a follow-up. I intended to talk about it at haul with another card. So this is an EVGA. Gosh, oh my god, stop it. This is an EVGA GT 610. This was part of the bundle as well. This was one of the ones I was having issues with, but I did eventually get it to work. It was drivers again. It was drivers causing issues. I got it to work. It passed Valley perfectly fine. It is a working card. So I'm actually 3 out of like I think 6 or 5 cards that I had gotten. So I got a net positive on that $35 bundle, which was crazy. But yeah, and this one is not a haul card specifically, but it is part of the bundle, and I said I would do a follow-up on this card as well. So this was, I think when we were looking it up, it was like a 6800 GT. It had the issue where it would display, but when you get to Windows, boom, crash. It would freeze up. And we had no idea why. And I had a couple like theories that this is a typical like, I've seen this before with cards that people try to flash different BIOSes on, where if you get into Windows it'll just freeze up. And then typically these people will just not try to fix the cards because this is their only card that they had and they were trying to put a higher clock on it. So that's actually the case with this card. This is not a 6800 GT. This is a Quadro FX 3400. I took off the cooler and I looked at the die and it actually says it on the die. Now the issue I'm running into with this card is I can't flash it because it genuinely thinks it's a 6800 GT. So I can't use NV Flash because it won't let me flash cards with incorrect BIOSes. So I can't flash the Quadro BIOS because it doesn't think it's a Quadro, it thinks it's a 6800 GT, so NV Flash won't let me. And any of the newer NV Flashes that like say, oh yeah, this avoids that problem altogether, they don't detect this card. So only certain generations of NV Flash will detect cards of certain generations. It will not detect this card, so now I'm kind of stuck where I have ordered one of those, like, you clip on to the chip and then you plug it into your computer and you flash the BIOS that way sort of deal. And I'm going to try and do that with this card and see if I can get this card to work. There will be a video probably on this eventually, but I won't be getting that flash thing until... God! Ah! I won't be getting that that little flash thing in until the 30th, until the end of this month. So you won't hear about this card until then, but I think there is a possibility for me to get this to work, and if I do, that would be the coolest thing ever. So, moving on now. Alright, we're out of the bundle. This card was so cool. So, if you don't know, video game like edition cards, like say the Batman cards or like the King Kong cards or whatever, they're typically very hard to find. Very hard. And typically they're very far and few because typically because people will not buy them, the special editions, they'll just buy the normal variants. And that's been the case for a lot of cards for a long while, or they'll just put them in bundles. So this here is an Asus 8800 GT Company of Heroes card. That does work, and that I got for $37.15. It was a heck of a deal. But I was ecstatic when the guy accepted the offer on this card, because it's not an easy card to find. Every time I find a card like this, I go and I look on eBay and Mercari and try and see if I can find the specific card, and I usually can't. So this card, I couldn't. This is a really rare card. This was a really good find, especially for the price. I would have paid even $50 for this card. I'm saying this, I'm saying that. I'm saying so many words over and over and over. I want to get the Batman variant next. Like the GTX 580 Batman or whatever. But I really want to get those next. But this is cool. This was a cool addition to the collection. I love it. This one's interesting. So this one I actually have had on my Mercari like list since like the beginning of this channel. Maybe even before that, but it's been there for a while. This is an Elite Group 8400 GS. Elite Group is a bunch of people who don't make graphics cards anymore. Like, this was one of their attempts at it, and that was about it. But this is such a unique card. Like, look at the PCB design. It's so sick. It was obviously meant to be. This is a DMS 59, I believe. Connector. This was meant to have a DMS imp. It was meant to put DMS out, and then what would happen is it would do multiple monitors off one port. So you could do, like, I think up to 3, if I recall. But yeah. Anyways, I messaged the seller because this card had not changed in like 2 years. And I just messaged on a whim. I was like, hey, I'll see if they're still around. Because sometimes sellers do respond on listings that old. Believe it or not. I had to happen more than once. And it was a mom who responded to me. Her kid was selling this card. And I don't know whether it was like he was younger or older or whatever. But I like to think it was maybe it was his dad's card or something like that. Or some card he ripped out of their family PC and he wanted to sell it so he could like purchase a game on Steam or something. But that thought to me is so adorable. I was just like, even if this card arrives dead, I think I'm just going to let them keep the money. But it works. It does work and everything. It's really cool. This is definitely a more rare card because I can't find these anywhere else. I looked on eBay and I looked on Mercari and I can't really find them. And Elite Group doesn't make graphics cards anymore, so definitely a cool card. Great story behind it, and definitely rare. Oh, how much did I pay for it? I paid 15 bucks. 15 bucks for this little thing. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, big chonky's coming. Alright. So this was a deal. This was a freaking deal. I don't care what anybody says. This is a PNY Accelerated GTX 780 overclock. So the 780, like I said earlier, with all the cards like coming in and out of rotation, the 700 series is one of those cards. And right now they are going for cheap, but they will go back up in price because they're the 700 series. The 780s in particular are hard to find under $50. They're typically around 50, 55, at most 60, but typically they were going, they were, I would see them for $60 to $80 before they started to drop. And it was an eBay thing. This was an eBay thing where I think the guy was just selling it for $45, or I put in a bid or something. And I got it, and I was just like, oh my god, I got a freaking 780. I've wanted a 780 for so long. I want the Founders Edition the most, and I want a 780 Ti, but this is the next best thing. This card is so cool. It's so chunky, it's so big, and I love it. I love this card. It's one of my favorites. Okay. Another interesting one. This one has sort of a story. So, I don't remember if it was Budget who did a video on this card. I think it was. And no tea is going to appear out of thin air this time. I didn't brew any, unfortunately. So that joke will continue when I remember it next time. But this is an Asus Formula HD 5750. I got this for $27.88. And did I say what I paid for the Company of Heroes? I'm sure it's on screen. So, but this was a card that it was just one of those cards that every collector had to have or has to have, because it's just such a unique and interesting and rare, not rare, but not common anymore card. I think this is one of those cards that it was a deal between Asus and I forget what company, but a lot of people did buy this card. What the heck? Oh, somebody's delivering something from Amazon. Okay. So, this was one of those cards that people would, like, really want to get. There go the dogs. And I've wanted to get one for a while, but they're typically like 55 or this or that, and they're just so expensive. It's just like, I don't want to pay upwards of almost $60 for one of these cards, but I managed to find one finally. I got it for $27.88, and it works and everything too, and I'm so happy because I've wanted one of these for so long. Ever since I watched that video, it was one of those cards in my collection that I needed, that I desperately wanted. And I'm very happy to have one finally. This one is actually more rare than the Formula card, I found out. And I was not aware of it at first. I was like, oh, Flex Edition, whatever. This is a Sapphire HD 6870 Flex Edition. I have no idea what that means. No idea what the flex part of it means. Maybe it means like, ooh, that's such a flex, man. Oh man, you're like flexing your graphics card collection. Oh god, I feel so cringy. I'm sorry. But these cards are actually really freaking rare. There's only one other one of these on. Hold on. I hate this camera, man. I saw it. It was about to cut out. It turned red, and I was like, you better freaking not. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, there is only one of these right now on eBay for I think $44, and I do plan to grab it. If somebody else grabs it, whatever, I have one already. This one does work. All of my cards typically work. I would like to say that. Actually, yeah, every single card in my collection does work. I've tested it, I've run it through the ringer, they all work. But this is actually more rare than the Formula card. The Formula card has at least like 4 or 5 listings. There's only one other listing of these, and I can't even find it on Mercari. I don't think I looked on Mercari, but I doubt it's on there. It's not on eBay. I don't think it'll be on Mercari. But I don't understand the rarity of these. But hey, I'm not complaining. This is an incredibly rare card, funnily enough. So, Flex Edition. Whatever. I paid $31.80 for this. Next, the Quadro. Oh, it's the one my phone's actually resting on. So this is a Quadro 5000. That's it. It was one I saw that was like on bid or something like that, and I've wanted a Quadro 5000. I've wanted to complete the Quadro graphics card lineup for quite some time, and this is just another stepping stone to doing so. But Quadros do really well on my channel ever since the FX 4800. This card, the Quadros, I don't know why, they just do really well on this channel. And I have the Quadro 4000 actually, but I don't have the 5000, so I was just like, okay. I paid, how much for this? I paid $29.23. It's actually probably a really good deal for this. Heck is that? These are one of those cards that are coming out of, it's the same So the Quadros typically go through the same thing with the rotation thing that I was talking about, like the 700 and the R9 and yada yada yada. But it's less common right now. The Quadro 5000s and some Tesla variants, if I recall, are going into rotation where people are selling them off cheap. And I just managed to snag one, so it was like, heck yeah. Alright. Alright, I was told to mention Dogecoin. Dogecode? I don't think that's right. I'm pretty sure it's Dogecoin. I can Doge. Oh, it is Dogecode. Well, my writing is actually correct this time. So, he wanted me to mention him. Dogecode actually was the reason I found this card originally, because he sort of collects as well. He's not as hardcore of a collector as me, because he does get rid of his lesser cards over time. I like to keep every card that I get. But he had tagged me with a link to this one on eBay. This is a Quadro FX 3500, and I got this for $5.53, which I didn't think you could really get graphics cards for that cheap anymore. But hey, they're still out there. Piece of dust on here. I'll take care of it later. But it's just another Quadro that I didn't have, and if he never messaged me the link to it, I never would have gotten it. So thank you, Dogecode. Here's your shout out that you asked for. I love shouting people out. I don't know, it's cool. I'm not that big a channel. I know I'm not. I'm not a big channel at all, actually. But I have fun doing this. This is a hobby for me. The YouTube and the card collecting especially is a really fun hobby for me. I'm never going to give it up, no matter how old I get. I'm sure there'll be a day where I shut down the channel and just don't upload anymore, but it's not coming anytime soon, I'll tell you that much. And especially when I get my own place and have a dedicated recording setup, I can do more interesting videos. I can have videos done like that. And then the real, like, ick is just the editing process that I have to go through. But yeah, thanks Dogecode. Now I have this card in my collection that I didn't actually have before, so. Alright, this next card has a story. And it happened recently too. So this is an RX 584 gig that I got for $29.60. And yes, I know, that is an insane price for this card. But we're going to explain what the freak happened that I got it for that price. No, I did not rob a guy in an alley for it. Maybe. No, I didn't. So what happened was I actually ordered on eBay a GTX 560. And the card, it was like a bid thing where I was like, oh, I don't have a 560, so it was like the MSI. Oh gosh, why do I keep yawning? It was like the MSI, the blue striped with the like rounded cooler variant. It was the dual fan one. But I ordered it, and I knew it was coming in, and I waited, and I got home. I opened up the box, and this thing is sitting there, and I'm just sitting there like, there's no way that's a 580. There's no way that's a working 580. The 580s, typically, you find them mostly dead, because they were the mining cards, and yada yada yada. Anyways, I actually have a 580. It's up there on, there's like a little rack up top where I keep all of like my more cooler dead cards for just like decorum, essentially. I have a 690, an HD 4870X2, a really cool looking HD 5850, a 9800 GX2, an RX 580, I think that's an 8 gig actually, and then a GTX 570 classified. I actually want to do a collab with somebody who fixes graphics cards to see if maybe they can fix any of those cards, because that would be so sick. But anyways, I don't know what happened. Whether, I almost think it might have been intentional. The seller hasn't messaged me about it, nothing. And in all honesty, I really don't want to send this card back, because it's a really nice card, and it works and everything too. I have tested it. But I've had that happen before. I've had that happen where I've gotten a second card, like with the 9600 GT, literally that card. That was another scenario where I got sent a card randomly that I didn't order. And that's so cool, because I now have a freaking 580 in my dang collection. These are like $80 cards. So, yeah. I'm very, very, very happy with that. I can't believe I paid $30 for a freaking RX 580 4GB. That's unreal, man. But anyways, that's literally every single card that I have for this haul. I wanted to do it because I knew this card list was getting long, and I have something to upload, but I want to have something interesting to upload for my next video. So this is an interesting video. The haul videos always do well. People love the haul videos. I love doing them. Editing them is a bit more of a challenge, but that's fine. I don't care. Anyways, though, thank you guys so much for watching. That's literally it. There's nothing else I can really show you or talk about, anything more interesting. Really cool cards that I got in this round of collecting. I don't expect this to slow down, especially with my work being the way it is. I get paid a decent chunk, so I'm always sitting here looking for cards half the time. I haven't even bought a card on this paycheck yet that I'm currently on. But that's because I'm planning to travel for vacation in like 4 days, and I've been spending a lot of money on things that I need. So that's partially why. But I always keep an eye out for interesting cards. I gotta ask, there's a couple people in the budget Discord, which if you never, you guys should totally join, because I talk in there immensely more often than my own server. It's really fun. Go look at Budget Builds on YouTube, and in the description he'll have his Discord server. It's really fun. I enjoy being in there a lot. I talk with all the admins and everybody. Everybody's really, really nice and helpful and fun to talk to. And I keep yawning. So, you know what? That's it. Y'all have a great day, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ding dong the notification bell, because it always helps my the YouTube algorithm with me. So yeah. Anyways, later.